Today we're going to talk about 3D Builder and how easy it is for anyone to learn and get started creating their own ideas. We'll be designing a little 90-degree angle bracket to connect these two T-bars together, and you'll see just how quick and easy that goes. If you've tried Fusion 360, Blender, or even Tinkercad and realize how difficult they are to get started, then 3D Builder is definitely for you. 3D Builder used to come with Windows 10, so you may want to check to see if you have it already. But if not, don't worry, I've got links down below so you can download it. It works both with Windows 10 and 11. This is what we're going to make. So I'll go ahead and go use the back button and show you it being taken apart, and then I'll put it together from scratch. Okay, so these are all the steps that were done to get that little bracket made, and here we go. We'll create them again from the beginning. Okay, we know our T-slot rail or T-slot bar is 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters, so we want our bracket to be 20 millimeters wide. With 3D Builder, you've got 10 shapes that you can start out with and then add, subtract, mix and match to create anything you want. Today we're just going to use the cube and the cylinder. When you first add an object, it's going to the default's 40 millimeters square. So we want to change this to 20 millimeters. You can do it by either dragging the corner down to the size you need. And if it needs to be perfect, you can type in 20 millimeters by 20 by 20. So now we have a 20 millimeter square. Now we want to put in another square, and we're going to cut out that slot. So we'll just go to insert, do another cube. And to change colors on this, you click on the paint tab and we'll make it red so you can see the two different objects in action. For the inside, I want about 5 millimeters of wall on each side, bottom, and the back. So we'll make this a 10 millimeter wide object. Bring this down with the mouse to about 10. Doesn't have to be perfect, but if you want it perfect, double click. We'll click 10, accept. 10 and 10. We want to bring it up because we don't really care. This doesn't need to be 10 because we're going to cut out this section here, and we're going to cut out that section there. So we have about 5 millimeters on the sides and back, and the bottom we just need to raise up 5 millimeters. So what we'll do now is just lift this whole red block up 5 millimeters. The easiest way to do that is to go over to this tab, which is where you move objects left and right, up and down. Instead of this one is where you reshape objects. So we're going to move it up 5 millimeters since the sides and back are already at 5 millimeters. So we'll just look at any time you click on an arrow, it'll change colors to yellow. And then you can look at the number down in the X, Y, Z and see which one's yellow. So since we want to lift it 5 millimeters, we'll click on the top and we're going to look at this number. It's 23.57. So we'll add 5 to that, and that'll be 28.57. 28.55, that's close enough. And then we're going to subtract it. We're going to subtract this object from the green object. So to do that, you click on the Edit tab and subtract. All right, now we just need 2 holes to put the screws through. And since I'm using 5 millimeter screws, We'll go ahead and use the circle cylinder. We'll add that. The default is 40 again. And so we want about a 6 millimeter hole. So the 5 millimeter screw will easily go through it. 618 is fine. Go ahead and raise the height, and we want to make sure it cuts through the bottom. So we want to make sure that you can see it protrude through the bottom. And let's go ahead and move it to the left a little bit. It sort of snapped right in there. That looks good. And before we cut a hole, let's go ahead and copy and paste it. So I'm going to hit Control C to copy it and V to paste it, because we need another hole in the back. And this time we'll go ahead and use the rotate tool. We'll rotate this 90 degrees. Now we're going to move it back. Make sure it goes through both sides. And let's lift it up. That looks good. And that's pretty much it. Now we just need to create the holes by subtracting. Double click on that, make sure it's highlighted. We'll go to Edit, Subtract. There's our back hole. Double click on this cylinder. It's through the bottom, through the top. Click Subtract. And there's our bracket. I'll go ahead and print it, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, first we need to save it before we print it. So it's always a good idea to save it into two formats. Just go up to the corner, click on Save As, and the first format is the 3MF format. We'll call this bracket 4. And the second format is the STL format, which you can send directly to the printer. So go down to STL, bracket 4, save, continue, and now we can print it. Okay, while it's printing, I just wanted to let you know the 3MF format, you want to save it in that to be able to edit it in the future. So just keep that in mind. Here's our bracket. It came out perfect. The screw fits perfect. This is actually the second one. I mounted the first one, and it's perfect. The only thing I like to do is maybe cut these corners off, and I can do a video on that to show you how that would be done. It's very simple. If you like the video, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.